Today, I want to tell you an interesting story involving two famous Turkish actors, Demet and Can. This story not only talks about their careers, but also about family tensions and how external expectations can influence a person's personal and professional development. Demet has had a successful career based on a strong character and impressive discipline. She has stayed firm in her path, not letting achievements or criticism distract her. Her approach is clear. I am firmly rooted in reality and move towards my dreams with steady steps. This determination has not only made her a star in the art world, but also an inspiration to many young people who aspire to follow in her footsteps in art or business. On the other hand, we have Can, whose career has been affected by family pressures, especially from his mother, who constantly compares him to Demet, suggesting that she is more successful. This constant criticism has had a negative impact on his self-esteem and made it difficult for him to find his own way. This is a clear example of how family expectations can block a person's potential if not managed constructively. Meanwhile, cultural projects in Italy are showing how the interaction between different cultures in the art world can create profound works. These projects are not only successful locally but also gain international recognition. However, not everything is positive, as some criticize the competitiveness that exists within the art world, comparing the success of Italian projects with the struggles Can faces in his career. This type of competition highlights a common problem in the art world: the struggle between the local and the global. Major international projects, like those from Disney, can overshadow local art, even if that art has intrinsic value. Major international projects, like those from Disney, can overshadow local art, even if that art has intrinsic value. This raises the question of how to balance globalization with respect for local cultures in the artistic field. The story of Demet and Can reflects the complexities of success, family pressure, and cultural dynamics. While Demet has built a solid career and stayed true to her purpose, Can still struggles with his mother's expectations, limiting his development. This underscores the importance of finding a balance between support and constructive criticism, and how both can influence personal and professional growth. In the end, both Demet and Can teach us valuable lessons about the importance of being true to ourselves, managing external expectations, and how both local and global cultures can learn to coexist and enrich each other. The future of art depends not only on global collaboration, but on a balanced approach that values both the local and the international. This story is not just about two individuals, but reflects a broader evolution in our society, about how criticism can be useful when given constructively, and how competition in the art world can be a driving force that pushes us to improve. However, this image people have of Demet has not always been well received. She has often been criticized for her relationship with Yaman, being labeled as a victim or as someone who doesn't know how to manage her love life. It's interesting to see how some comments call her perfect, but at the same time attribute certain attitudes that seem inconsistent with this image. Some comments mention that Demet can't accept being cheated on, and that she is a powerful woman who shouldn't tolerate such behavior. This reflects an unrealistic expectation of what it means to be a strong woman. It's expected that she is unshakable, without doubts or emotions, and that she is never vulnerable. But the truth is, everyone, no matter how strong they seem, has the right to feel and make mistakes. No one is exempt from the ups and downs of life, and it's easy to judge and give advice from the outside without knowing the whole story. No one is exempt from the ups and downs of life, and it's easy to judge and give advice from the outside without knowing the whole story. Demet, like anyone else, has the right to make her own decisions, even if those decisions do not align with what the public expects from her. She is a woman who has had to deal with the constant pressure of being a public figure, and that is not easy. Sometimes people forget that behind the camera and the lights, there is a real person with emotions, fears, and desires, who also has the right to make mistakes and learn. When people talk about her relationship with Yaman, many focus on the negative, on what didn't work, but forget to see all the moments they have shared as a couple, the happy moments, and the reasons they came together in the first place. It's important to remember that in any relationship, there are ups and downs, and not everything is as black and white as people tend to want to see it. Some comments criticize her for her alleged immaturity or for the decisions she makes in her personal life. But again, I think this is due to a superficial view. It's easy from the outside to make judgments without understanding the nuances of a relationship, especially when it comes to public figures who have to deal with constant pressure. People tend to think they know everything about Demet's life, but in reality, they only know what is shown through the media. It's unfair to expect a person to live under the expectations of others without having the freedom to make her own decisions, learn from her mistakes, and move on. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others. Demet has also been labeled as someone who needs to find a man who values her, as if her worth depended solely on her relationship with others.